Okay, guys, day 22, and this is another name for God. Kind of more almost a descriptor of something that God did for us at a time. This is actually the name is Jehovah Nissi, and it means God is our banner. Now we don't really carry around many banners. In fact, the only time I can think about seeing a banner in active display is during a football game, during some sort of athletic event, when someone will run in with the banner of their team on a flag or something like that. That's the only way I can really think that we even think in these terms again. But in that day, in his day, being under that banner was a place to rally, it was a place to come together, and it was something that you waved in signal of a victory. Under God's banner, we go from victory to victory, from triumph to triumph, and we say this, and this is 1 Corinthians 15:57. Thanks be to God who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Now, the interesting thing about this, if you really want to understand this, you have to go into Exodus chapter 17. This is a story of how about the background of the name Jehovah Nissi. It involves the Israelites. They're wandering through the desert. They had left their slavery and their bondage in Egypt, and as they're along the way headed where they're supposed to go, they were attacked from the rear by the Amalekites. The Amalekites were a very powerful, warlike group of nomads that just kind of roamed the desert, and they would just take out people. They would take what they wanted. They were rough people, rough characters. God was not a fan of the Amalekites. As they're in this battle, and as the battle commenced, Moses stood on top of a hill where he could oversee everything that was happening, and he could see the armies that were below. And what he did was he held the rod of God in his hand. This is the same rod that he used to strike the rock, and the water came out. And when he would raise his hands, the Israelites would have victory. And so he would do that, but try to keep your hands up for very long and see how long you can do that. Now put a staff, a walking staff that you can walk with in your hand, and just see how long you can keep that hand up. Over time, your muscles get weak, and as Moses' arms would droop, the Amalekites would gain victory. Again, they were a superior force in a lot of ways. Now, there's a lot of people in the Israelites, but there's a lot of women and children. They were not a fighting force. They were a nation on the move. And so the Amalekites were winning. And so as Moses' arms grew weary, this is just a beautiful story. His brother Aaron came in, another man named Hur came in, and they stood on either side of Moses. And when he could not keep his hands lifted, they didn't take the staff. They didn't try to take his authority. They grabbed his hands and they lifted his hands and that staff up in the air, and God continued to provide for their victory. And so as they won this victory, they defeated the Amalekites. This is what Moses said. He named the battle, and he after Jehovah. They built an altar and they named it after Jehovah Nissi. The Lord is my banner. This banner that brings us victory. This is a strange way that the battle was won, but here's the beautiful thing about it: they shouldn't have won that battle. They didn't have the firepower. They didn't have the organization. They didn't have the experience. They had been slaves for generations. They had been attacked and brutalized. There was no doubt, though, why they won a victory. There's no doubt that the victory was delivered by Jehovah Nissi. This God is my banner, the one I'll rally to, the one who provides victory, the one who brings us together. It was not won by military might. It was won by the power of God. What victories has God brought you through? Now, hopefully you haven't had to literally fight for your life, but what victories has God brought you through? Maybe it's a fight through addiction. Maybe it's a fight for a relationship. Maybe it's a fight through to overcome poverty. Whatever your background has been, how has Jehovah Nissi helped brought you the victory that you needed in your life? So take some time and remember those things today. And then as you remember, carry those into the struggles that you face today. Maybe today's a bluebird sunshine day. I don't know what it's going to be, but maybe today is a day that you look and you just make some deposits so that you can remember when the difficulties do come, just exactly who provided the victory that you needed and how. Jehovah Nissi, God is our banner. See you tomorrow.